Can I take my article and make a long form video and multiple short form videos, and now I'm on YouTube, Instagram TV, a LinkedIn video, a Facebook video for my group.
Hey guys, so I just met Steven here. So Steven is, I know Steven spoke on the batch. That's how I first heard about him. And also I heard Eric Dyke, who's an organizer of iStack training events. I've heard him speaking about Steven methods, and I just met him here and he just blew me away before this 3 minutes ago with his knowledge. So Steven's specialization is retention marketing.
Content
marketing. How to content marketing, basically how to get the most out of so when you build your audience, when you build your list, how to get it in the most efficient way possible, and also once you have that list, how to monetize it and how to just make it as efficient as possible and as profitable as possible. So Steven, glad to have you here on camera.
To be here. So glad to be here.
Yeah. So so if you can kind of explain the major things that, for example, let's take a simple example, right? Let's take e-commerce business, right?
Yeah.
So how your methods would apply to that specific business, and what could be the potential outcomes?
Sure. Well, what I think about, there are three problems I want to solve with any of my efforts for an e-commerce brand. And those three problems are, how do we cut the cost of cold customer acquisition? Because attention capture is the most expensive part of marketing.
Yeah, definitely.
If we can solve that problem more efficiently, we have more money to spend on warm customers because those are more profitable.
Yeah.
And I don't care what group you go to and somebody shows some screenshot with whatever ROAS, it doesn't matter if they're not taking the money home.
Yeah, right.
I'm more about what money are we keeping.
Yeah.
All right, so that's problem number one. Problem number two is, okay, how do we know which advertising channels are going to be the most effective for remarketing? I don't want to just use, say, Facebook ads and say, okay, well, Facebook ads is king. It may not be relative to the audience that I have. I want to join the conversation already happening in their mind. As example, the people that are engaging my Facebook page are going to be different than the people that are engaging my blog posts, and they're going to be very different than the people that are engaging content for my niche on YouTube. They want to consume it differently, so I have to figure out what channel is most effective to get those people to convert more. Because it may be the same message, but if I package it differently, now people understand it much easier to come and find me. Number three, how do we take out the deep-pocketed buyers? How do we make them irrelevant? How do we take away their buying power? How do we make it to where you can spend $1 million a week and it doesn't bother me? In other words, when I run an e-commerce business, I don't want it to just be, I want people to come to my store and buy.
Yeah.
I want people to
That's how most people do it, right?
That's how most people do it. Instead, my question is, how do I make it their idea to come to me over and over and over again? Because if I run content, this is the key. If I run content and I know what questions they're seeking and asking to become product aware, right? Well, then now I give them a reason to come to my site that has nothing to do with price or a sale or a deal. Think about that. Let's say we're selling a sleep aid supplement.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, if I'm selling a sleep aid supplement, my content isn't going to be about my sleep aid supplement. It's going to be about why you have low energy, or best sleeping tips, or best sleeping positions, or your nightly meditation routine, or all of the things people are going to try to research before they want to buy a product. I want to control that touch point. I want to give them the idea that my product is the best solution for their problem. And now I give them a reason to come to my site versus 50% off my sleep aid. I don't want to give up my pricing power. And here's the other thing. When I run an e-commerce business, which do you think is more expensive? Targeting people that want a sleep aid or trying to engage people that just want to sleep better?
Yeah.
So if I pay less money to get them to come to me,
Almost everyone wants to sleep better, right?
Exactly. So now I'm paying less money to get them in the door. And once they're on my website, I can say, okay, people that have abandoned cart, people that have been to my site 3 times, people that have scrolled 50% of the way, people that have abandoned checkout. Now I can spend more money retargeting those people that have higher intent.
Yeah.
And here's the other beautiful part about it. If you come to my website and it's your idea to come to my website because of content, well, now I can segment my messages. People that submit a form or view the About Us page are extremely different and need a different message than the people that view a product page or view my product reviews.
Wow.
So now I'm only spending money based on intent. Am I re-engaging people, or am I giving offers to the people that need offers? Because how many times have you tried to buy a product or even research something, and you're just trying to research and get questions answered, and all of a sudden you got product ads in your feed, and you're like, it's annoying. I don't want that. Turns you off, doesn't it? But let's say you're looking for sleep tips. Okay. Well, what if instead of offering you anything to buy, you see an article, say, hey, if you want to sleep better, here are 15 best tips to sleep better. You go, oh yeah, click. Did you really have to think?
No, it's like
I wanted exactly. I don't want people to think. So these are the kind of things I talk about. When I run content, I use buyer psychology to make it their idea to come to me. Now here's 3 things you got to think about. 3 ugly truths about people. Number 1, if you give people something to push against, they will. If I give you an offer, you have something to push back against. No, I don't want that. Number 2, people can't resist what they can't detect. I'm going to come back to that.
Yeah, can you elaborate?
I'm going to come back to that. Number 3, people sometimes believe what they're told, but they never doubt what they conclude. If you do your own research on your issue, you do your own research, you consume content before you're even thinking about buying a product. No matter what I tell you about my product, you really think that's going to sway you from the research you've already done?
If it's like contrary to what you're...
I can't sway you. So let's go back to number 2. You can't resist what you can't detect. If I control the content you're consuming, haven't I made it your idea that my product is best for you?
Yeah, definitely.
There you go. So that's how I run things. I will take an e-commerce store and I say, okay, here's the subject that these guys are a part of. What is the lifestyle? What are the enthusiasts? What are the questions people are asking? And in any product store, the people I want to find online are the enthusiasts. Who are the people that are doing or sharing or buying or have a passionate pursuit? What other products are they buying? What are they doing to express their passion for that lifestyle or hobby? Because those are the people that are going to give me the content ideas to draw other enthusiasts in. And guess what? How many people are really making content around a niche consistently to become a thought leader? Not many.
Not many.
But here's the difference. When we go and look at marketing circles, especially like at Affiliate World or something like that, everybody has their latest marketing structure, and here's my campaigns, and here's how I do things, and that's great. So let's go back to the original thing I mentioned. How do we take the deep buyers out of play? How do we take guys out of play that can spend $1 million a month or more? What you do is you say, okay, here's my content articles. I can repurpose it across multiple platforms. And I have a system to where I can take 15 articles and make 3,000 pieces of content across multiple platforms. And I can do that every 60 days. Wow. So at the end of the year, I have 20,000 pieces of content across multiple platforms, and I have the engagement metrics for each piece of content. So I let the audience tell me based on their engagement, what kind of content do they prefer per platform? What kind of message do they prefer per platform? And if you translate that, that means I've tested 20,000 different creatives for my e-commerce store across multiple platforms.
How do you source that much creative? Like,
how do I do it? How do I make that much?
Yeah.
There's a few different pieces of software. As an example, a blog is a blog. But if I want to write a blog that people understand, use something like Readable or Hemingway. Because I can take the reading level and make it something where people understand. right? There you go. A lot of people will write as marketers because they're experts on a subject.
Yeah.
Your consumers aren't experts. So the key for that, when you write a blog, make your message self-evident. I want people's brains when they consume my content to have a reflex, not a think. If I say, what's 2 plus 2? You go, 4. It's a reflex. If I say, what's 17 times 38? You go. Well, if your customers are doing that with your content or with your store or with your offer, what are they going to do? Back. They click the back button and off you go. So when I make a blog, let's say, Readable is one of the pieces of software I use. But then what I can do, why can't I take that blog and repurpose the individual thoughts from the blog across Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter? Can I use a software like Adobe Spark? And can I take each of those thoughts I just posted and put a different background behind them and get captions going? And now I'm on Instagram and Pinterest. Can I take my article and make a long form video and multiple short form videos? And now I'm on YouTube, Instagram TV, a LinkedIn video, a Facebook video for my group.
Oh man.
And then on top of that, instead of exporting my video as a video, why can't I send my video out as just an audio and now I have podcast?
Okay. So
I'm everywhere.
You do the work once and then you just...
And it's over and over. It just takes care of itself.
Wow, this is powerful.
I can be everywhere. But that's how I can test different creatives, because not everything is going to be a winner.
Yeah.
Something's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
But the point is, now I can say, okay, my blog readers like this, my Instagram people think this is dumb. Let me not do that anymore.
Yeah.
Let me test a different kind of creative and see what's going to get the most engagement over here. Because if I get more engagement on platform, it drives my ad costs down.
Yeah.
And now I have pre-tested what kind of message and what kind of content I need to put in my ads to get the most engagement. And that's what we want.
This is powerful.
So I use buyer psychology to get people to come to me and chase me. And based on their behavior, they don't know it, but they're testing all my creatives for me. Now, at the end of the year, I still have 20,000 lines in the water that people can still consume and come to my site, and it's just feeding itself. But when you're an ad buyer and that's all you have, once you turn off the ad spend, you're nowhere. It takes the deep-pocketed buyers out of play.
Yeah.
They don't scare me. And it takes platform crashes out of play too. Because if I have people coming and they're on my list, well, what happens when Google's having a bad day or Facebook crashes? Everybody goes, oh no, on all the internet forums. I don't care. Email the list. I was teaching people, like you mentioned, I was at Deepesh's mastermind. And I told people how to work a list for Black Friday. Because I knew it was going to happen, because it happened last year. And as you all know, on Black Friday,
Shopify crashes, yeah.
Shopify crashed and Facebook crashed.
Yeah.
And I was like, saw it coming. So I taught everybody how to work a list.
Yeah.
And how to engineer behavioral addiction into their audience. And you can do it like that. It's so easy. It's the easiest thing in the world to engineer people's behavior like that. And I very quietly in the mastermind, private group, said, hey guys, this is what I do with my list. And I had 2 or 3 other people chime in and say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you mentioned this. We had our biggest day ever without even having to deal with Facebook. And so if we circle back to the original message, and I said, let's separate cold customer acquisition from retargeting, because these are the people that really need the offers. But we got to get people to give us attention. If everybody else is running offers and they're saying, okay, I had $20 CPAs and all this kind of thing, that's cute.
Yeah.
I'm getting people into my email list for usually around 25 to 29 cents every week.
Wow.
Week on week on week. And they come to my store. And like I said, I give them a reason to come and visit my store that has nothing to do with the product and nothing to do with price. The point is that I'm getting them used to coming to my store. Now, the other part of it that we didn't talk about yet is if I'm giving you valuable content to help solve your problems, to help answer your questions, but I haven't made you an offer yet, what I've done is I've saved you a lot of time. So now when I make you an offer, some part of you is going to want to give me reciprocity.
Reciprocity, yeah.
So people don't realize it, but when you come into my world and you view my content and you're coming to see with me, I'm putting you in a situation where you're going to end up giving me reciprocity and you don't even know it. I made it your idea to buy from me. You can't resist what you can't detect. That's how I do it.
This is strong, man. This is very strong.
I love it.
Why people don't do it? Like, why people?
Because they're lazy.
Okay.
Because I'm serious.
It's easier to turn on ads and stuff,
It's easier
right?
to go in Ads Manager and say, okay, I'm going to push this button here. I'm going to change this here. I'm going to change my bid there.
And tomorrow, like, I'll make.
There you go. Okay,
bunch of
cool.
money.
Yeah, there you go. It's easy. But what they don't realize is something called Goodhart's Law. Goodhart's Law is from an economist. They said, any metric that becomes a target becomes a useless metric. Here's something. In all the Facebook groups that we go to, everybody talks about, oh, well, here's my thing, and I did this much in revenue, and my ROAS is this, and that's great. But those are short-term metrics because it's something to show people. If you run an agency and say, okay, well, we're doing 4x ROAS. Great, cool. That's something to measure to show success. But you know what they're not talking about?
Profit, yeah.
The profit.
Yeah.
But how well are their efforts going to getting their existing customers to come back and their traffic acquisition? All they're displaying is how many people took advantage of their offers. But the problem is their ads are only as effective as the demand that's already there. Well, who's building the demand? So you'll see a slide in my presentation where it says everybody that's a media buyer that's trying to figure out a better ad campaign structure and all this kind of thing, all they're doing is building a better mousetrap. I'm the guy that teaches the mice to like the cheese.
Oh, okay.
It's a very different way to think about it. Think about that. It's called, if you want to look it up, it's called Operant behavioral conditioning. Teach the mice to touch the lever and they'll get the cheese. It's rewards and punishments. What rewards do they get for engaging with my groups and content? Well, what do people really want? You think they want products? No, they don't want products. People need mental engagement. They can't stand boredom. People need to not be isolated. People need to be significant. So if I give them a way to further their passion, their pursuits, and a place to share it, where do you think they're coming? They're coming to find me because I gave them a place to do that. So now when I put an offer in that group, you really think they're going to look anywhere else? No, I've engineered their behavior that way.
Wow, this is so strong, man.
It's a very different way to play the game.
Different way to.
Very, very different way to play the game. But if you know that about people,
I mean, if you add if you add what you have on top of,
Oh yeah, yeah, all of that. That's fine. I apply all those strategies, but in a different way. I'm not just running purchase ads on Facebook like everybody else does. I want to get people to come and see me first. And then I run purchase ads based on people's engagement. So let's talk about something very technical. If I set up Google tags on my site, okay, well, I can build those audiences now in Google Analytics, but now I have multiple channels to retarget people, not just Facebook. They're gonna get retargeted on Facebook and maybe Instagram, but I can also run RLSA ads on AdWords. I can run YouTube ads. And the people that are seeing the offers are only the people that have shown through their behavior the highest buying intent. It's like a massive dynamic creative campaign. Get people in, that's one problem. Everybody else's behavior is going to dictate what ads they see.
Okay, so segmentation basically.
Very huge, very, very huge. Most people that say retargeting, so I'm going to use this audience, and my abandoned carts are over here.
Yeah.
No, I want to micro-segment them. And you know what a lot of people don't talk about as an advertising channel that's the best for micro-segmenting is AdWords.
AdWords.
AdWords. Everybody says Facebook is the most powerful ads platform. I disagree. AdWords is the most powerful. Let me tell you why. It's real simple. And his eyes are like, oh, what? Wait a minute. With Facebook, it models everything on behavioral predictions. I think that these people have the highest likelihood of converting.
Yeah.
Well, that's cute. That's speculating. Maybe they don't. That's why some days we have real bad days.
Yeah.
On AdWords, I can get the right message based on where they are in the buyer's journey that absolutely matches their intent level as they type in their intent level. And most people don't realize, because we're all too busy in Facebook, that 50% of searches result in an ad click. Ooh.
50% of searches?
Of Google searches result in an ad click. And if I can match the right message as they have intent, Like, I'm looking for this. Cool, here it is. You can't do that on Facebook. Can't do it on Facebook. You're guessing every day. Some people are really good at guessing. But here's the thing. Let's circle back to content. You ready? Targeted keywords. Sleep aid supplement. Very expensive because it's product oriented.
Yeah.
Best sleep tips. Not product oriented. Might cost me 10 times less to advertise. But if that's what I'm using to get people onto my site, now I have all the rest of the money to run offers to people that are already engaged.
Retarget them. Okay.
Oh, very different. Very different. So if I run Facebook ads, sure, I'll run Facebook ads, but it's for content. Get them to my page, get them to my blog. Let them come and touch me. And then let me touch them back. There you go. And Facebook groups are like kind of the cornerstone of how it all works. And it's funny because I've been doing this for years and years, but earlier this year, Facebook moved the newsfeed over to where it's more group focused, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why? Because people want inclusion. We have our enthusiast groups we're a part of. Okay, you know what Facebook groups really are? They're focus groups. I can read everybody's conversations and sort out their behavior and what they really want and how they want it. And then I can make my ads and use their behavior against them. And then if they're in my Facebook group, guess what? Not only am I the CEO of the company, but I'm very active so that if they have an issue or they want something else, or I'm providing free and valuable information, how many times does a person that's selling you a product actually continue to talk to you about your passion and your pursuit? Very rarely. But the people that do, they have an enormous customer retention rate. So I make it people's idea to come to me, and just because I continually touch them and provide them more information to continue their pursuits, well, don't you think that in exchange they're going to take advantage of my offers when I offer them?
Oh yeah, for
But
sure.
what they're not, what they don't realize is that by behaving in the group and telling me what they really want, they're also telling me what other products I should develop. I let them tell me. Very, very different than, here's my offer, find an audience. I'm like, here's my audience, let them tell me what offer they want. And if I have a variety of subjects I already know they're searching for, it's just a matter of feeding them the content. Because it gives them more reason to come back. And we haven't even talked about price for my product because I'm not going to discount it. It's totally different.
If you utilize this, like on top of your acquisition, I mean, you just.
It's a completely different idea.
Yeah, it's kind of your media buying skills on top of like retention. Like I always say to people that they should basically if customer buys from you once, they need to buy from you again.
Over and over and over again. And what people don't realize is that the more often you touch your customers, the less likely they're going to be able to say no. And the psychology behind that is that only about 1 in 10,000 people, if you're nice to them face to face, are going to say, you have to leave me alone right now. They're not going to tell you to go away. We always find excuses. Think about the people that text you or the family member that bothers you and you're like, okay, all right, fine, I'll talk to you. And we all have it.
Yeah.
Because it's an interpersonal thing. We don't like to be mean to people. Cool. I'm going to use that to my advantage. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to get them in Facebook. I'm going to give them things. And to make it practical, if everybody that's already dealt with all this or whatever, if you want to start with this, very, very easy. Take your main converting keywords. Like if it's sleep aid, look up sleep aid or natural sleep aid or valerian root sleep aid as an example. If you don't know what keywords they are, go to Google Keyword Planner. It's free. And it will give you suggestions. Take the higher volume suggestions. Go to answerthepublic.com.
Answerpublic?
Answerthepublic.com.
Answerthepublic.com.
It's a tool. You put in your keyword, and you can do 3 or 4 searches a day for free. It's a tool. You put in your keyword, and it gives you a list of all the Google searches that are questions that people are asking related to your targeted keyword. Whoa. Wow. And here's the better part. Even for free, you can export that to a spreadsheet. So you can go through each one of those searches if you want, or have a VA do it if you'd like. And so, okay, based on this search, what content is coming up? What questions are people asking? Because if they're asking those questions, why aren't they asking it to you? Why aren't I feeding them those answers?
Okay.
Because if I feed them those answers, I also control the information that they have. I control what other information they're seeking. I can plant ideas in their head as to, mine is best. This other idea, maybe it's not best. Here's the choice architecture. Go here, don't go here. Instead of what shirt do you want to buy, it's, do you want the blue shirt or the red shirt? Oh, well, I'll take the red, thanks. They don't even realize that green and yellow and purple are available, as an example. But yeah, that's a tool that you can use very quickly to say, okay, what content do I make? Cool. Go around the wheel there on Answer the Public, and you say, okay, cool. Make this, make this, make this.
It's like I think it's often this like what kind of like what people
That's the
like
biggest question.
Like
with content, the biggest question I get is how do I find ideas? It's already there.
Yeah,
it's already there.
Yeah.
But here's the biggest thing. You have to be consistent. Find a way to post consistently because you don't need to be like a Hollywood filmmaker and produce amazing content and these super in-depth blogs. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares. They want something consistent. They want you to be their favorite newscaster.
Okay.
That's all they want because you're touching them often. They just want consistent information they know they can go to. Ooh, a new subject about this. Ooh, about this. Ooh, about this. Okay, that's great. Yeah. And then guess what? They're going to come to you when you say, oh, well, I'm going to make an offer. Oh, well, man, they already give such good information. They probably put that much care into their product, too.
Yeah. Man, this is so strong.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward.
I'm going to, you already had your presentation?
No, it's at 4:25.
So just before mine?
In about an hour, yeah. Yeah. And I'm on the breakout stage, though.
Oh, okay. You have to...
I'm on the breakout. No. I'm on the breakout stage, which means they're going to let me interact with the crowd.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so I mean, it's a process that I have that's called tiger hunting is my content system. And the reason I call it tiger hunting is because you don't go and hunt tigers. Tigers are used to being chased.
Oh, really?
Think about it. The tiger's the biggest prize. If you want to equate it to something else, tiger's a supermodel. Everybody wants a supermodel. But how do you get a supermodel's attention? If your supermodel is your customers. You have to offer them something that they cannot get anywhere else and they can't get on their own. If you can offer them that, they have no choice but to come to you. I don't want to spend my days chasing everybody else. I want to be here, and I do me, and everybody else can come and find me. And it's pretty easy to engineer the behavior that way.
Wow, it's a totally different way.
It's a very different way. Very, very different way.
Steven, thank you very much. I mean, I know, we could talk like the whole day, right?
Yeah, and anytime you want to reach out, you just reach out and let me know, and we'll keep going.
It's, how do people find you? How do people follow you?
How do people find me and follow me? Oh boy. The easiest way to find me is Facebook. It's just Stephen Black. You'll see a picture. I'm dressed like this. This is how I dress all the time. And then you'll see the links on my profile. I run a marketing group focused more on Amazon sellers because Amazon sellers don't know a lot about marketing. So helping them build a private brand presence for their e-commerce stuff. I talk to them about Amazon being one of the channels and then helping them grow off of Amazon. But if you want to reach out to me on Facebook, send me a message or anything like that, it's not a problem. That's usually where I hang out. So there you go.
Cool. Thank you very much, Steven.
Thank you very much.
A lot of insights. I have a lot to think about now.
Yeah, your brain's like, wait a minute. Okay, wait. Yeah, but I spell it all out. And when we go back in there, I'll show you the other stuff too.
All right, cool, awesome.
That'd be cool.
Thank you guys. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.